Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Knostman here with Calfkick Sports, and I have the great honor of being joined by Attila, the fearless Korkmaz, ahead of his bout against Agy Sardari this weekend at OKTAGON 61. First of all, how are we doing today, brother? How are we feeling ahead of your fight?
I'm good. I'm good. This is now the last um, phase of the fight preparation where I just need to focus on losing the weight and maybe doing some fine tuning going through the game plan. But other than that, I'm just excited to make a great war on the battlefield.
Absolutely. Speaking of a great war on the battlefield, congratulations on your win against Makwan Amirkhani last time out at Octagon 58. Fantastic performance and finish. Um, How did you feel like that fight went according to your game plan? And do you feel like that's giving you some momentum and you know some build up for this fight?
It certainly gives me some momentum as I beat a UFC veteran, a high caliber opponent. And yeah, I certainly did not underestimate him. And against me, he was well prepared. He had a good game plan. This was more of a strategic matchup. And I just had to find the chance to basically pull the trigger. And yeah, for sure, the performance, I think I did a good statement on that night.
Hmm. About that fight, was it your first time fighting outdoors? And what was that experience like? Because I know that was in an open air arena, if I'm not mistaken. Correct.
Yeah, right. It was outdoors actually.
Hmm. Yeah.
Honestly, it didn't make much of a difference for me. And I tell you,
Okay.
I've never fought in such an environment. It was
Hmm.
such a big audience, right? Like 28,000 fans.
Yeah.
It was very unfamiliar for me, but at the same time, I felt really comfortable in that
Hmm.
environment.
Yeah.
So doesn't
Yeah.
matter. The stage doesn't matter.
Absolutely. Well, obviously, Octagon hosts very large shows. They're hosting a massive show coming up in your home country of Germany, coming up at Octagon 62. But as a fighter, what's the smallest venue you've ever fought in, the least amount of fans? And then obviously, I assume the last event you fought in was the largest. So what's the smallest and strangest venue you've ever fought in as a fighter?
The smallest venue that I've been fighting, it was in some backyard with like other coaches. It was just like my coaches, my opponent's coaches, and us, and maybe like
Yeah.
a referee. That's it. So I'm used to fighting in like in a small shady gym,
Mhm.
and of course also, I mean, Octagon wasn't the only big organization that I've been fighting in,
Mhm.
so I'm quite familiar with all types of energy. But in
Mhm.
the end of the day, it's just a fist fight,
Yeah.
so the excitement is there nevertheless. If it's a big show or a small show, doesn't matter.
100%. So, as I mentioned, well, as you mentioned, you've fought for many promotions: Bellator, UAE Warriors, German or GMC, German Martial Championship. What's special about Octagon compared to those other promotions, and how do you feel fighting for this promotion?
The special thing about Octagon is their production, and they basically they focus on storytelling for the fighters. So each fighter is like a actual protagonist. We're not just like some athletes, but we're actual protagonists. And they're really good with the media, and they just give each fighter a platform to showcase not only their skills but also their personality. So that's what I like. So you're able to build a brand for yourself, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as a fan, I feel like every fight has its own unique storyline, and some of the even bigger promotions, such as the UFC, it almost feels like it's just a fight with no story. But Octagon does a great job, like you said, of really sharing the athletes' backgrounds well. Um, Something else Octagon's been doing very well is hosting events in Germany, which is where you live and train now. How do you how do you think they've affected the popularity of MMA in Germany, and do you think that it's really kicked up a notch since Octagon's been hosting shows there?
100%,
Mhm.
100%. It's I mean, the sport of mixed martial arts was already growing in Germany. The
Mhm,
interest was growing,
mhm,
but Octagon, it just brought it up a notch. And now we have like these characters
mhm,
all over Germany, who are headlining events, and people are actually invested. And
mhm.
even people who are like, you know, I will refer to them as like super casuals. Even
Yeah.
them, they're like,
Mhm.
they watch every event, and they're like, it's nice to bring
Yeah.
in new people into the sport, for
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely. Well, yeah, Octagon's doing a great job, and obviously they have 58,000 seat arena to fill next or in October for in Germany. So you're taking on Agy Sardari in the reserve matchup of the Tipsport Gamechanger tournament. Obviously, first match didn't quite go your way, but you stayed in against Makwan Amirkhani this last time. Um, First of all, have you watched much tape on Sardari, and do you feel tape study is a very important part of your preparation for a fight?
100%. I think this is essential, like tape study in general, to evolve as a martial artist. I think this is one of the best things you can do, like basically doing your homework. I
Yeah.
refer to this as doing your homework. And yes, I studied my opponent, and this fight is going to be an interesting fight, as my opponent is a very intelligent fighter,
Mhm.
and it's going to be a clash of great minds.
Yes. Yeah, I completely agree. Obviously, a great grappler, Sardari is, and he's coming off that very close loss to Losane Keita, who's arguably one of the most dangerous fighters in Octagon. So, very impressive. Do you see any similar stylistic matchup with the grappling to Makwan Amirkhani, or do you kind of view this as a very separate challenge?
I think it's separate, as his approach is a little bit different, because he's not. I'm not sure if his background is in wrestling. I don't think so. He has
Mhm.
more of a jiu-jitsu background,
Yeah.
and his striking is much more proficient than Makwan's. But at the same
Mhm.
time, they have like different stances. Makwan is a
Yeah.
southpaw fighter, and Agy Sardari is an orthodox fighter who likes to change to southpaw for certain movements. And like in my for me, overall we could say, yeah, he's just a grappler. But
Yeah.
for me, it changes a lot of variables, right? And you have to consider those variables and then see. For me, it's another interesting puzzle to solve.
Yeah. Well, I love hearing you talk like that and viewing it as, such a puzzle and a really unique challenge to figure out the best way to find victory. So I always love hearing fighters, perspectives on a game plan. So I see it on your sweatshirt. I was going to ask you about Spitfire Gym, obviously one of the most successful gyms in Germany. As an American fan and media member, I've heard of Spitfire, some of the fans or some of the fighters that come out of there. What's special about Spitfire to you? And talk to me just a little bit about what the camp's like and how they're really progressing MMA in Germany.
Oh my God, what can I say? Spitfire is, at the moment, yes, it's one of the biggest MMA gyms in Germany, and it's going to, I can guarantee you, it's going to be the biggest MMA gym in Europe. Just stay tuned. Big things are coming, and I can tell you one of the main reasons why we are growing so much is there is a lot of emphasis in quality of coaching. So we hire the best coaches. Now we have UFC veteran Grayson Tebow as our MMA coach. He's
Mhm.
giving us great input, and we've got lots and lots of fighters, and they get the actual support from the gym. So if you are motivated and dedicated, they will open the path for you, not only with quality training but also organizing fights. And there is an environment where each fighter is able to like support themselves. Sharing knowledge between each other is encouraged. Um, you need extra training hours, maybe outside of the regular training hours. This will be made possible for you. So um, it's a really encouraging environment,
Mhm.
very supportive environment. And that's why I think it's just going upwards. And there is a the biggest thing that I like is we're always also like the staff always it's iterating. So whatever went well, whatever went wrong from a fight, they learn from that.
Hmm.
And it goes from even from practice to practice. They review training methods and everything, like, and it builds on top of each other. So every time when I look back, like half a year, I'm thinking,
Hmm.
yes, like all of us we improved, like the whole system. So I think, yeah, there is an upward trend, and yeah, I'm happy to be part of this team.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, it sounds like, it's really taken that, like you said, MMA has been growing in Germany, but it feels like these kind of steps, like OKTAGON coming to the country, Spitfire Gym having such a organized program, is really kind of taking the sport to the next level in the country, which is awesome to see. Um, One more note on Spitfire. Tell me one fighter or prospect who we as fans may not know of yet, who you think is really going to make a splash in the next year or two on the MMA scene in Europe.
In my opinion, there is one fighter who's a little bit under the radar. He's
Mhm.
one of my best training partners. His name is Davlet Karataev,
Mhm.
and he's been doing the sport since he's small, and like one of my biggest nightmare training partners. Each time I learn a lot from him, and he's causing big trouble in the German scene. Many fighters are reluctant to fight him,
Mhm.
but I'm very, very sure the next organization that has the privilege to snatch him,
Mhm.
they will benefit a lot from him, from his skills, because like what I see day in day out in the gym, his performances, it's incredible. So I think, yeah, they need to the organizations need to stay ready to
Keep an
get
eye out.
get a hold of him. Yeah,
Absolutely.
for sure.
All right. So, a little bit about your life outside the cage. What are some things that you like to enjoy? When you're not focusing on fighting or in fight camp, that keep you happy and fulfilled.
Man, this is going to sound like cliche, but
Mhm.
training and fighting,
Yeah.
and I don't say it just like that. Like, there are guys, they say, "Oh, I'm motivated. I only do this." Nah, nah, nah." No, I mean, look, it's gonna be some kind of contradiction, because while I train, I train full time. I prepare for
Hmm.
fights, right? I do professional fights, but I work a full time job.
Yeah.
I work a full time job as a software developer, so this takes,
Mhm.
of course, a big chunk of my day, right? But any free time that I have, I spend it with training. I spend it with watching tape, and that's basically it. I don't meet friends. I don't do nothing. Like, I don't go to cafes. Of course, I love to have some cake. Drink
Yeah.
some coffee and all this stuff. But man, this year, the majority of the days, the majority of the year, like, I spent more days dieting than not. You have to
Yeah.
imagine this whole year, right?
Yeah.
And like, there is no rest for me. You could say, why is this guy burning out? But I think, in my opinion, it's like, you have to do the best for your body. You have to treat your body really well with nutrition, with recovery and everything, right?
Mhm.
And the rest will follow. Your body will facilitate you everything that you need. Your mind will follow as well. Like, I'm too busy to be occupied with, like, negative things, right? So training, improving, learning new things, this already fills my heart. I mean, yeah, that's the thing, right? But of course, if I have some time, who doesn't like to play video games and these things, meet
Yeah.
friends, travel? I like to travel around, but usually I mix it with training camps. So when I
Yeah.
travel, I do training camp, and yeah, I love sweets, but at the moment I
Yeah.
cannot eat any sweets, so I have
Yeah.
to
I understand.
do it
Well,
after the fact.
well, trust me, I'm a fighter myself, and I totally relate with the one to just be in the gym. That's the beautiful thing about combat sports is there's always something to improve upon. There's always something new to learn. There's the journey's really never ending with combat sports.
Exactly.
It's always there's always something fresh there. So if you win this weekend, obviously you're, as I mentioned earlier, you're the current reserve. for the Tipsport Gamechanger tournament. If anything happens to the one still in the bracket, you'll be the first to be offered to step in. But what's next for you combat sports wise in 2024?
2024. So if I win this fight, then I will be qualified, I think, for the next lucky loser voting, and then again, wait for another reserve match. I assume they're gonna do the finals in the end of this year. I'm not sure, but if they do, then probably I'll be preparing for the reserve match. And after the tournament is over, honestly, I'm not sure. Of course, I'm open to fight in OKTAGON, like in the regular lightweight roster, right? Maybe go for the title if as it will be unfrozen, right? So this is an option. But of course, I'm also open to other fight offers. Let's say other organizations. I'm not so I'm not so narrow-minded in that case. I don't have I don't want to go like only that route, or you know. I'm open for whatever comes, whatever offer comes, and also what my management is going to organize for me, and what's best for my career. But besides that, I just want to stay active. So as long as I'm not injured, as long as I'm healthy, I'll just stay active.
Absolutely. Well, last but not least, do you have any sponsors, coaches, teammates you'd like to shout out ahead of your fight this weekend?
Of course, big shout out to my teammates and my team Spitfire. I hope to showcase everyone what a strong team we are. And if you want to learn MMA, but you don't have a coach nearby, then you can visit learnmma.online, where I offer MMA instructionals straight to your device.
That's amazing. Awesome. And last but not least, I would like to hear your prediction for the fight this weekend.
My prediction for the fight, the thing is, I say, I'm going to put him to sleep, and then I end up powerbombing my opponent, So it's a little bit difficult to go too much into detail, but I will for sure go for a finish, and I want to make it spectacular.
Absolutely. Well, your last finish was spectacular, so I have no doubts that you'll do it again. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure to tune in this next Saturday, September 21st, to watch Attila Korkmaz take on Agy Sardari at OKTAGON 61 in Brno, Czech Republic, on both OKTAGON TV or DAZN. And once again, thank you so much for joining me, and best of luck this weekend, Attila.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.